All right, so we got the blue car back over in the body shop. The first order of business is going to be pulling the hood and the nose off. The nose has some damage there, so that needs to be repainted. The hood has the incorrect bird, so we're going to go ahead and pull this one off. We'll probably just save it for some art anyway since it's in good shape. We have an extra hood, so we'll repaint that and get the correct bird on there. And then they're going to go ahead and remove both front fenders so we can get to the door hinges because the doors are sagging quite a bit. While that's all apart, that'll give us easy access to the motor. Unfortunately, this thing is just completely rusted and seized, so it has to come out. We have to try to tear it down, and then it'll have to go to the machine shop to see if it's going to need overboard or what to exactly do with it. But with it being a matching numbers motor, we definitely have to figure some way to get it rebuilt. All right, so first up, they're going to go ahead and get this hood removed. We'll set the camera up, and they'll go ahead and take that off.
The camera and see what bad they. And I'll put it back in the hood.
Thank you.
Well, I just got started for you. Well, happy birthday, Shane. How old are you?
35.
You wish you were 20 something. No. Why you want to be kidding about it? Make sure it's good. All I need to fall in that car.
It's okay, you can paint it again. It'll look better than
Yeah, I want to paint it again. Okay, let me put that board back.
Next up was removing the nose. Don't scratch it.
It's okay.
Trust me, we're trying.
Paint the whole car.
Because I don't want to freaking paint it. No, hey, hit that Supra now.
Doink.
We gotta paint it again.
All right, and just like that, the whole front clip is off the car. Overall, the frame and everything's in really nice, clean shape. Everything looks pretty good shape. Once we get the motor ripped out of here, we'll be able to pressure wash it. All this stuff I think will clean up pretty nice. Definitely going to make it a lot easier removing the motor now that there's no fenders or nose or anything on the car. So that'll be the next order of business, is getting that pulled out. All right, so we've decided to go ahead and pull the engine and transmission as one. We figured while the motor's out getting rebuilt, we might as well send the transmission out to be refreshed. So to make that process a little bit easier, we're just going to go ahead and remove this front core support. That way we can just pull them straight out the front. All right, and just like that, the core support is off the car. It's going to make removing the engine and transmission a lot easier. We'll be able to come straight out with it. So the next steps is getting this huge motor out of there. There's a lot of vacuum lines and stuff like that for the AC and all that on there. This car did have cruise control that is still there on the car, as well as AC, so it's a pretty loaded car. So just a couple extra things we have to unhook before we're able to rip this out. With it being fairly original under the hood, I just like to try to mimic all that on Reassembly when we get it all done. I'm just grabbing pictures of the way they ran the cruise control stuff and all the AC stuff, things like that. Plus, later on, when some of these parts go out to get powder coated and things like that, sometimes they end up losing a bracket or something like that. We'll know exactly what was here previously. Now with everything stripped apart, it's a lot easier to see the VIN number there, ending in 849. That matches what we have on the title. So it's just an easy way to confirm its matching number. Is a lot easier to see now with everything starting to get stripped off. All right, so the motor should be all ready to come out now. We decided to pull it as one whole unit, engine and transmission together.
Anything touching it? What about the exhaust?
We had to jump on the cherry picker a little bit and wiggle this thing back and forth to finally get it to completely free up. All right, so finally the motor is out and sitting on the ground. This one for teardown is going to be a little tricky. With the motor being completely seized, we're going to have a hard time getting the torque converter bolts off the flywheel. It's going to make it real hard to do a teardown on the bottom end and everything else. So the first order of business will be stripping off all the front serpentine setup and then removing the heads and seeing if there's any way we can get the rotating assembly to free up. All right, so we decided to go ahead and remove the rear end now. We figured since the engine and transmission is going to get pulled and refreshed, we might as well remove the rear end, replace all the seals, and clean that up as well.
Keep going. You're fine.
All right, just like that, the rear end is now out. Figured it'd be a good time since we have all the other driveline components out of the car. We might as well drop this and refresh it, repaint it. We also figured since we have all the driveline completely out of the car, the floors are in pretty nice shape in this car. So they're gonna go ahead and strip off all the old undercoating, and then they'll hopefully spray the underside in a color to match this factory red oxide. We're gonna try to do something else though. We're gonna use a Raptor liner material that we use usually on the underneath of cars. It's a very strong, durable material that prevents chipping and stuff like that. And we're gonna see if we can tint it to match this color and spray the whole underside so it'd be close to a factory appearance. So we just got done stripping all the components off the rear differential. It's currently raining outside, so hopefully the rain stops tomorrow. And we're gonna go ahead and sandblast this, get this all nice and clean so we can go ahead and repaint it all. So it still ended up raining today, so we just went ahead and set up out here underneath the roof. So after getting the axle all stripped down to bare metal, they went ahead and primed it in this black primer. And now you can see they're starting to paint it. So the goal with this is to mimic a factory appearance. Factory, this would have been cast iron, stick cast iron metal, and then they put these steel tubes on each side. So these are actually a little bit lighter silver than what this is. So this gets sprayed in a cast iron color. This gets sprayed in a lighter silver color. And that'll mimic the factory look as far as it having cast iron and steel ends on it. Now the center section is painted. Once it finishes up drying, tape off the edges and then spray the tubes in the correct color. After all the painting is finished up, we'll go ahead and pull this front pinion and change the seal there, because we can see a little bit of seepage coming from that, as well as all the seals and the bearings on the end, and this will be ready to go back in the car. So here is the rear differential all painted. Again, we're trying to mimic something similar to a factory appearance, so the center being in a cast iron color and the ends being in a bare steel color. It's not exactly as factory would have done it, but at least it has paint over it so it doesn't start rusting immediately. Definitely looks a lot better than it did, and it'll look nice underneath the car once everything else is all finished up. But before we get the nice painted rear end back in the car, we have to go ahead and take care of these floors. So here's a clean spot on the floorboard that was underneath the gas tank. So this is pretty much the factory red oxide primer. So next up, we're gonna use the camera again and get the color match for that as well. So that way when we respray all the floorboards, we can try to match or mimic that factory color. So I'll go ahead and grab that now, and then we'll start mixing up some colors. All right, so we went ahead and uploaded the sample from the floor into the computer here, and this is what it's given us for a close match. Right there's the amount we need to mix, so we went ahead and transferred that over to our mixing machine. I'll go ahead and mix up a sample, and then we'll compare that to what we have and see if it matches pretty well. So here is the sample we mixed up. I think that's a pretty good match. It looks pretty close in color to me. I know here it's showing to be a hair lighter, but I think once we actually spray it, it'll look pretty close. There it is without the light, and there it is with light. So yeah, I think it's a pretty close match, so I'm happy with that. We'll go ahead and mix up some more of that and get ready to spray these floors down once we finish cleaning them all up. So here are the floorboards. They went ahead and sprayed it with the Raptor liner first. Unfortunately, this Raptor liner was in a black gray color instead of coming clear. Sometimes they come in a clear or transparent, so we can usually mix the color in with it, but unfortunately this one that we got in was not transparent. So now that this has started drying up, we're going to go ahead and spray the base coat color over it. That way we'll have the proper color underneath.
What's that?
That looks good.
Looks nice.
So there is the color we mixed up to match the original floor appearance. On camera the color's not coming across quite right, but it is pretty much identical to what the floors would have had factory on it. So he's going to go ahead and spray the rest of it all now, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. So I just want to give you guys a look at the floorboards here after we got all done painting them. Here's what it looks like. Here's a look at the rear differential. Went ahead and got all new seals in, new wheel cylinders, brake components, brand new gas tank in there as well. All the new brake line, fuel lines are in. All this looks pretty nice up in there. So now we're just waiting to get the engine all torn down, send the transmission out, and then we'll be able to put everything back in the car. All right, so the first thing we have to do with this is go ahead and get this transmission removed. Unfortunately, the motor doesn't rotate, so that is obviously an issue. We can't get the torque converter bolts removed. We did go ahead and give a call to the transmission shop, and they are ready for it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the transmission off there, and then we'll see what we have to do about getting that torque converter off. All right, that was fairly simple. That came off pretty easy. So now let's start tearing down the motor. All right, so next up, I'm gonna go ahead and remove what's left of the distributor while he works on getting the valve covers off. For some reason, this doesn't just want to pull up out of there, so I'm gonna have to pry on it a little bit. So there's definitely signs of water being in the motor. I'm sure if you guys can kind of see all that sludge and rust there, and then there's a good look in the intake. You can see all that rust in there. So this motor's definitely taken on a lot of water at some point. So I guess we'll just keep tearing it down and see if we can get this completely disassembled to go to the machine shop.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah. That definitely doesn't look good.
Oh my God.
So I've seen some bad motors, but
And you trying to spin that? Good luck. Look at that, cookies.
I've never seen this before. That's a first for me. I mean, you guys see just how much of that is just flaking off. I mean, look at these ridges in here. Can you guys see how bad that is? I mean, look at like these deep like ridges and stuff.
Yeah, that's they're gonna have to sleeve it, you know.
Yeah, they might end up sleeving this. I don't know. We'll have to see if they can overbore this or what, but it's definitely one of the worst I've seen. Even up here in the valley area, you guys see how much rust is in there around the lifters and everything else. This thing is just
Junk.
yeah, it's pretty close to junk.
If it's not matching number, I'll totally throw it out, but
Yeah, so
I have to save it.
there's what the bottom of the head looks like.
Wow.
Look at all that scale.
This is bad. You mean that water set for probably years and years.
So the other major concern we have now with this is the building we got the car out of wasn't heated, or at least it wasn't heated when we were there. So that's definitely a major concern with how much water we see in the cylinders. It's definitely a possibility that something got cracked or anything else with water sitting in it. So once we take this to the machine shop, we'll have to have them magnaflux it and make sure there's no cracks anywhere in the block. If so, then they should be able to repair it, I imagine. I just don't know if they're going to have to do a huge overbore or if they'll have to re-sleeve it. But once we find out, I'll definitely update you guys as far as what they end up having to do with this thing, because it's horrible inside. It's really bad. All right, so we got the engine up on the stand. Started removing some of these oil pan bolts. Coming out pretty good. It's got one more left here. Should be able to pop this off. Alright.
Holy mackerel. My God.
There's the oil pan. Yeah. Looks great inside. You guys see how much rust and scale is built up on these rods here. That rod there.
Look at that here. Show that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
It's a whole bunch of sludge there. Yeah, it's definitely sat with a lot of water in it for a while.
And you tried to spin that motor?
Yeah. Oh,
This side is even worse.
yeah. So I guess I'll start figuring out how to take this apart.
Snap. Throw it out. Snap. Throw it out. You could probably use an impact.
Try. I don't want to break them free. So I started taking some of the caps off just to try to get the rods broke free from the crank. Most of them came off all right, but these two in the middle are super rusty. All right, let's see if this piston will come out.
Hey, it's coming out. Oh, broke. So to me, you flip the motor and break them all, and better than all that headache. Man, that piston is like brand new.
Good job.
Yeah.
Seized up.
There's a nice clean piston for you guys. Thing is just junk. And it's completely seized up, and that's pretty thick piston, and it cracked. You guys can see how thick that is. Took that much force to get it out. So we'll go ahead and try to do that to the rest of them, and then I'll pick back up once we get the rest of these knocked out, hopefully. All right, so we got all the rods broken free, and the crank seems to be moving now. See if we can go ahead and get it out.
Hey! Finally! Oh my God.
See how nice and clean my hands are now?
Yeah, you didn't even. All that hard work, your hand's still clean.
So here's a look at the block, pretty much all stripped down. We still have to try to loosen up some of these lifters, so hopefully we can get the cam pulled out. If not, we'll just send it to the machine shop that way and let them have fun with that. But Here's a good look at the cylinder walls. You guys can see just how much rust and scale is built up in there. Just definitely a lot of rust. Front two aren't as bad. Let's check out this other side here. Here's the passenger side of the motor. Definitely a lot of rust there. Come on, there's one lifter.
I know.
Snap.
And the sad thing, how many I got to go?
15 more.
Garbage can.
Why? We reuse them, put them in oil.
Yeah, okay. I'll pull these two, I leave the rest for you.
Next up, it was time to take on the front suspension.
So we've gone ahead and started pulling the front subframe apart. Gonna take everything off, including the motor mounts, the upper control arms, lower control arms, the spindles. You can see some of the stuff over there. We have new bushings and some new motor mounts to install. We were gonna have everything sent out to a powder coat guy that we use, but he's about a month out and we don't have a month to wait. So we're gonna have to sandblast everything ourselves and put it in epoxy and then put the black coating that we spray on everything else on the subframe. So we continue to check over everything and try to replace whatever is bad. Here's the shocks.
See how good it is?
You can tell those have been on the vehicle for a while.
That's why we go over everything. We take everything apart, change and make sure, so hopefully everything will be done soon. I hope so.
What are you doing?
Trying to clean it.
We told you we want to get the car done in about a month or so. We said pull the engine, paint the underside, and be done. You didn't say I'm going to strip everything on the car.
You don't understand. It's a matching number car. And you know, when it come matching number car, I like to do them nice. It's just, you can't do it half. I don't want to cuss, but you can't do it. I don't like that stuff. I got to do it right or I'm not doing it. You need to be done right. Like the motor mount is all broken. All that stuff underneath is all filthy. The gearbox is all leaking. We have to fix it and paint it, make it nice. The booster is leaking. It got to be brand new. This is probably, you know, with the car, but I'll put it in the trunk, but I'll put a new one. But I know you're not happy about it because you always, you know, want to hurry, but not me. I want to do it right. If I'm not doing it right, I won't touch it, honestly. This is a blue card. Matching number car. How often you see a blue card matching? You don't. So
what's the idea then? Strip the front of this, get it all painted and done, and then
yes,
unhook it from the chassis and then replace all the bushings and do the back half of it?
Yes, I gotta do the half back and I'll do it all and put it back and then I'll start on the back here. I don't know, I have numbers here, so I don't know if I really want to sand them or
Maybe just clean it up.
clean around it and stuff. Any numbers, anything you really don't want to touch because it's a matching number car. I know maybe you don't care, but I do. It's like, yeah, so I gotta do the hinges then, the door hinges, but I want to finish everything here, put everything back, and then I'll start on something else.
Be nice if the powder coater wasn't so far out. Usually
I
just
know,
drop the whole
man.
frame off to them. They'll sandblast it inside,
It could be
outside,
done.
and
I
powder
don't-
coat it.
Look at me, man. Look how bad. It's like horrible. You give it to the guy and come back brand new. I don't have to deal with none of that stuff. But it is what it is. We gotta finish it.
Factory, I guess they were just painted. They weren't ever powder coated. So basically doing it like factory.
Yeah. So if you didn't like it, you get mad about it. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Okay.
I will. I'll keep it. I'll buy it and keep it.
Well, let's just keep working, get it done. Got to get this done eventually. We got a whole nother car to do.
Okay. Yeah. We got Alice's car. This is gonna be really serious work. But we take it to the powder coated guy.
Yeah, on that car to be a little
I'm
different.
not gonna do what I'm doing here. No, it's too much.
Yeah, we can just put on a rotisserie and take all the parts to him and let it get sandblasted and
people
done.
will see how it's done nice underneath and everything. Be sandblast underneath everything on rotisserie.
Well, I'll let
I
you get
hope-
back to work and we'll see what it looks like when it's finished.
Yep, you guys see it, how nice it's gonna be.
All right, so here's the frame all painted. Yeah, you can see how it all turned out.
So the side. So now what do you think? Say you're wrong. Come on. Say you're wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm wrong. I would say that, yeah, it looks nice done, but it was also a bunch of work.
See, you always want to do it, fast. No.
Look at his face. Look how much dirt and dust is all over him,
I
sanding all
cleaned
the...
already once and it's still, but look how nice it is. It's worth it, It make me happy, honestly. It's nice.
I mean, it'll make the car look a lot nicer, especially
Yes.
with all the floors being done and stuff now, so...
Everything gonna look brand new.
Yeah, I think with the floors being done and now the frame being done, and then once we get
But
the
I
engine
just,
in there...
I just want to hear you saying you're wrong, honestly. You gotta say it once in your life, especially when you're not doing the work and you're complaining. I could see if you're doing the work, but you're not. So say I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry, but kind of sorry. Yeah, it looks better, but still took time. But here
Yeah,
it
it
is.
didn't take nothing out of your time.
Yeah.
Me and your brother been here from 8 o'clock in the morning.
Next up, they'll change all the subframe bushings, and then they'll be able to start reassembly, which will be the control arms in with new bushings, and then all the steering linkage and gearbox and everything else back in. So here it is. It's back down on the ground. Got all the steering components cleaned up and repainted, the gearbox resealed and repainted. All the lines ran, all the spindles and stuff put back on. Those are all nice and painted as well. Looking a lot better. Now we just got to wait for that motor to come back. It's going to look nice in the engine bay.
There's really nothing wrong with it. It look like it's not leaking or anything. So.
All right, so they've been working on the AC box here on the firewall, getting it all cleaned up. As you guys can see, it's kind of in this like brown raw fiberglass color. So they're able to use actually some paint thinner and SOS pads to clean up all the filth and old paint and stuff like that that's on there. Make it look back to what factory would have been when they came out new. So they also went ahead and cleaned up the rest of the firewall, but still preserved that factory marking and stuff like that up there. So this is all pretty much back to a factory finish now. So now my dad is working on cleaning the harness up. Figured it was a good time while everything was apart to go ahead and clean this up. So go ahead and clean all the loom up, all the harness up,
Make everything nice.
and then clean all the corrosion off all the connectors and stuff like that. Some of these light connectors will soak in a vinegar mixture to go ahead and clean up any corrosion that's down in them. This will prevent us having issues where we have dim lights or half the side don't work or something like that. So it's always good to go ahead and clean up the old harnesses. Overall, it is in good shape. There's no cuts or anything like that, but we just want to go ahead and clean it all up, make sure everything's working properly when we put it back in the car. Here's the new booster all installed. Definitely looks a lot better having a nice zinc booster put in compared to the old one that was all cruddy and nasty. This is the new reproduction that Summit sells. Has like the Delco name and stuff like that on it. They also have a little bit of an updated design where they put the bleeders up here. That way you're able to bleed the master cylinder out, stuff like that. So here it is out in the sunlight. We went ahead and got the core support just temporarily mounted up on there. Give you guys a little bit better look at everything. There's the new booster all installed. That's what the frame looks like, the gearbox. Here's
This
what
turned out to
the
be a beautiful
AC box looks like. Looks like its original finish, so looks a lot nicer now underneath the hood. Be nice once the new engine gets in there. So the guys from WD just pulled up. They're actually bringing the Porsche down now to deliver to us to get some work done on it and get our opinion on it. And we reached a good stopping point for the video this week. As you guys seen, we got the complete underside of the car completely refreshed. In the next video you guys see on that car, we will hopefully have the motor back from the machine shop and start assembling that and get that ready to put in the car. I believe the next video that I'll have out will be on the WD Porsche. We actually have to do a couple things on that car for them, so stay tuned and make sure you guys don't miss that.